we move towards the poems. Now, how are the poems going to be explained to you? See, when it comes to a poem, the first thing is I shall be reciting them, okay? I shall be reciting the poem to you. Then what is important for you to understand is you need to know the rhyme scheme. Now, how do we get the rhyme scheme? I shall show you while I'm doing that. Also, when you see the last words of every line, if you feel they are rhyming, accordingly you get your rhyme pattern. But in case there are no rhyming words, there is no rhyme scheme over there, then it is called a free verse. That poem, if it does not have any rhyming words, it is not ending with any rhyming words, then that poem is called a free verse. This is definitely for you to remember. Why? Because if it's this poem, you might know it, because you will know it rather, because I shall be telling you right now. But when they come to unseen poems, you have comprehensions, right? No paper comes without a comprehension. You get a passage as well as a poem. So when you have an unseen poem, how will you know what is the rhyme scheme? And 90%, this question definitely comes. So you have to make sure that you know the rhyme scheme. And if there is no rhyme scheme, if it is missing, then it is a free verse. So don't let that 1 mark go. Yes? So this 1 mark we have pocketed. Now let's move further. Now we move towards the literary devices. Literary devices you call it, or you call it the figures of speech, or you call it the poetic devices. Whatever is asked, the question remains the same. The wordings have changed, the terminology has changed, but what you have to do is, you have to get the figures of speech. Yeah, we had done it in grade 9 as well. We had done it for every poem. Likewise, we shall do it here too. We shall go around with the figures of speech. Now, you shall also get a slide in this module where you shall be getting the definitions of the figures of speech. So don't you worry. You don't have to refer to anything else. It is a complete package. Once you start the module till the end, you will be fully sorted. So yes, stay glued till the end of the video. Alright, so then you get your figures of speech. After that comes the explanation. Now, you get the narration, you get the reciting of the poem. Once you have recited it, then you need to understand what every line is saying. What is it talking about? Yeah, what does it mean? You need to understand the explanation so that you can frame appropriate answers. If you have understood the poem properly, then you can frame very good answers and again pocket your marks. So yes, we are not leaving any space for you to lose a single mark. But for the same, just like I am giving my 100% right now, I expect the same from you so that you attain 100%. Yes? So let's begin this beautiful journey of poems. The very first one is Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. We all know this poet very, very well. Let's just talk about him first. Robert Frost was one of England's best loved poets. He made attempts to write poetry while working on a farm or teaching in a school. In 1913, his first book was published. He employed traditional patterns to write poems. You know, the conventional patterns they used to write poems with, he used those. His well-known poems are Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. You remember? You did it in grade 9. Mending Wall, The Road Not Taken, again, etc. Likewise, there are many more such famous poems which we have already done it in the last year. So, let's see further what does this poem have in store. Dust of Snow. It's just the dust. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I rued. Now, do you see crow, snow, me, tree, heart, part, mood, rude? Do you see? they are rhyming. Now, because these words are rhyming, you have a rhyme scheme. A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. You got it? I mean, we've already done it in grade 9. Because crow is, rhyming with snow, it's A, both are same. Me, tree, rhyming, so B, B. Heart, part, rhyming, C, C. Mood, rude, rhyming, D, D. So, A, B, C, D, C, D. That's how you get your rhyme scheme. So, this is not a free verse because we have the rhyme scheme in this poem. Now, let's see. Let's move towards the theme of the poem. Where is this poem actually taking us to? In which direction? Dust of Snow by Robert Frost is a simple tale of having snowfall on the narrator to pull him from the unpleasant mood that he had previously been in. Now, the snow fell on him, right? And he had been in one of the most unpleasant moods that day, so that snow made him feel good. The simplicity in the end is the key element of the work, as nature is shown as magnificent enough to bring a person into a pleasant mentality. It grounds the narrator in a satisfying place like a tree, and this uncomplicated action, very simple, it's not complicated, it's uncomplicated, as in it's simple. This uncomplicated action is mirrored in the uncomplicated wording, techniques and structure of the poem. Very simple. Everything is very simple. The way it has been shown, the way it has been reflected, the way it has been worded, extremely simple. No difficult words for you to understand. It's very lucid. Together, these elements solidify the theme of the poem. That nature, what's the theme? That nature and simplicity, if appreciated and looked into, can be grounding factors in a time of stress. So if you focus, if you look towards nature, if you are simple, if you look towards simplicity, then, and if that is appreciated and looked into, definitely in moments of stress, you can definitely start feeling good. Yes, so this is what the poem is taking us to. Now, as I already mentioned before, poetic devices used. So, in this poem, now there are n number of poetic devices, right? So, in this we shall define, these have been defined, only those which have been used in the poem. So, it's a very easy go for you. Now, this is the rhyme scheme, AB, like I already explained it earlier. And which are the figures of speech used, which are the poetic devices used in this poem? You have alliteration. What is alliteration? It is a repetition of the initial letter. What do I mean by the initial letter? The first letter of the word. Generally a consonant. We by now obviously very well know what is a consonant. Letters which are not vowels are consonant. And our vowels we know A, E, I, O, U and a silent H. Yes, H is in both. It comes as a consonant if you say house or hut, and it becomes a vowel if you say R, honor, we don't say the H. So yes, silent H. Now, so it is the repetition of the initial letter, which is generally a consonant, of several words marking the stressed syllable in a line of a poem. So if I give you a simple, a simple example, which watch would a witch buy if a witch would watch two watches? So you see, right? So when you have these tongue twisters, there's a repetition of, www. I repeated in the same line so many times. So that is an alliteration. Or a very simple one which we all know. If I give you one more example, Betty bought a butter, the butter was too bitter, so Betty bought another butter to make the bitter butter better. Hush. Yes. That is alliteration. Yes. Then we have assonance. A vowel sound is prominent throughout a line. So throughout a line you have the same vowel sound. So here you can find only A, E, I, O, U, right? Then you have enjambment, running lines of poetry from one to the next without using any kind of punctuation to indicate a stop. Now look, these words might sound a little complicated to you, but they cannot remain complicated because I am here. How can it go complicated? Now, what is enjambment? Basically, they are talking about the running lines. Now, without a pause, without an indication, without a punctuation in between, what are they trying to tell you is, so one line of the poem goes to the other. Now, the first line does not become meaningful till it goes to the next. It is a continuous line, but it has come on the second part. So, that is an enjambment. This will be way more clearer when we get to the poem. So, relax. And inversion. Structure of a sentence is changed by to create rhyme. It has been changed. You know, the structure of that sentence, you want to rhyme the last word with the, word of the previous line. So you change the structure of the sentence, and so it is called an inversion. So don't worry, as we get to every line, every poetic device, it will be way more clearer. Now, the poems, the lines 1 to 8. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. What is a hemlock? It is a poisonous plant or a tree with small white flowers. Okay, that's an hemlock tree. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Rued as in held in regret. That whole day had been really boring, really stressful, very annoying, very disgusting. So when this thing happened to me, my mood changed. There was a swing in my mood. It went for the best. Now the words which have been highlighted, which are difficult in the poem, you have the meanings right here. So again, you don't need to refer to a dictionary or even get onto the Google. It's right in front of you at a glance. See, everything has been taken care of. So as long as you stay glued, you will benefit the max. Now, if I talk of the explanation of the first 4 lines, remember there are 8. Let's talk of the first 4 lines. It was a day of winter. It was snowing all around. A fine dust of snow had covered the tops of the tree. Now, when you see the trees, you can find snow on them, right? They are all covered with snow when the snow falls. A hemlock tree was standing there. There was a hemlock tree. The top of the hemlock tree was all covered with fine dust of snow. Like, it was dusty. The snow was dusty. Minute particles. The poet was standing under that hemlock tree. He was just there. A crow from nowhere came and perched on top of the tree. Now, suddenly a crow came, and he came and sat on the same hemlock tree under which the poet was standing. The sudden movement of the crow, there was a movement, right? He came and sat, maybe he moved, he fluttered its wings, so there was a movement in the tree, made the dust of snow fall down. Now, that thing was not glued to the tree, right? The snow, it was loose. So, as soon as there was movement, the dust of snow fell on the poet. The flakes of snow fell on the poet who was standing under that tree. Now, you can just visualize the whole thing. And see, when you understand this, you can easily frame your answers. If questions are asked, even when extracts are asked. Extracts, references, they give you a part of the text and they ask questions based on the same. So, yes, you can definitely answer them. Now, moving to the next set of lines. The arrival of a crow and its sitting on the hemlock tree is just an ordinary happening. It simply happened. It is very casual. There's nothing great about it. There is nothing great about the incident. On the other hand, the crow stands for an ill omen, and the hemlock, the tree, is associated with poison. Now, in fact, this is so very common to happen, nothing great. But if you look at it, when we look at the crow, when the crow caws, you feel it's an ill omen. It's like a bad luck sort of thing. It's not a good sign. And the hemlock tree is associated with poison. So you see, both are bad things, the crow and the tree. Nothing is good about them. But these seemingly simple things of nature leave a deep impact on the mind and mood of the poet. Now, these things, though they are associated with the negativity, but yet they are the simple things of nature, and they leave a deep impact. They left a deep impact on the mind and the mood of the poet. This ordinary incident leaves a deep impact on the poet. So far, it has been a very dull and disappointing day for the poet. So far, the day was not good at all. Nothing great was happening. So he was very disappointed. There was nothing exciting. It was very dull and boring. The day has not gone well for him, but the falling of the flakes and dust of snow on him are welcome signs for the poet. Now, because those things fell, he was so stressed, and suddenly those things fell and they made him feel so good. The whole mood swing, there was a change, I said, in that mood of his. So they were like welcome signs for the poet. His mood changes for the better and his spirits are uplifted. He started feeling good. He started feeling positive. Now he realizes that the whole day has not gone waste. This moment when he felt the snow fall on him, he felt good. It was a wow factor at that point of time. Those moments while he is enjoying the fall of snow dust on him are his happy moments. So now he did not generalize that the whole day went bad, but because this beautiful thing happened to him, he started feeling great. They lift up his mood and gladden his heart. The pain which was there in his heart, which was making him feel sad, actually got dissolved. There was no more pain over there. Now he realizes that at least some part of the day has been spent happily. In the end, satisfaction replaces regret. Now he feels good, he feels satisfied, and so all the regret that he was having, that the day has gone dull, it's been boring, it's been disappointing, actually washed off with this one episode. He started feeling so good about it, actually started feeling more positive and very, very nice within him. He started feeling so good. So you see, if I talk about this poem, generally, what do? We generalize it. One thing happens and you say, oh, I'm doomed and my day is gone and blah, blah, blah. You're so disappointed. But if you look at nature, if you look at the things happening to you, it's not necessary that we stress and we talk all about the negativity that's happening. Let's look at the positive sides as well. These small things, this nature brings you a lot of things. But the problem is we are so lost that we don't even realize them. We don't realize that this can actually change our mood. This can make us feel so better. But because the poet actually felt it and he realized that, wow, this is beautiful. So he did not let the stress and the pain and the misery overpower these happy moments. He felt good and he enjoyed it. So you see, the satisfaction actually replaces regret. The regret is gone and satisfaction has come. So this is how he feels about it. Now, that became that was the explanation to the poem, every line of the poem. Now, the poetic devices that have been used in the first 4 lines. So let's look at them. Assonance, as we said, it was the repetition, that sound of the vowel. So shook down on me, right? O, that vowel has been repeated. There is, it is an assonance because that's the sound of the vowel, right? Throughout the line. So it is an assonance. If I talk of enjambment, if you remember, I told you it is a continuous line. So the way a crow shook down on me. Now the way a crow is not complete. But if I add this shook down on me, now that makes sense. But because it is coming on the next line without a pause, there is no punctuation. So it is an enjambment. So the way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow. What about the dust of snow? From a hemlock tree. So this line is making sense only after you say the second line. So again, it is a running line. It is a continuous line. There is continuity without a pause, without a punctuation. So it is an enjambment. Inversion. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Now, what was inversion, if you remember? See, if you find it difficult to, maybe you're doing it for the first time, you can refer to the slide. It's there before. So, inversion are, where we are, the placement of the words has been changed, right? You want to place it in such a manner that you get the rhyming pattern. So, the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Now there is inversion. The words could have been placed normally. If you take a normal sentence, it will be different. But to make it poetic, to make it rhyming, we have inversed. We have changed the placement of the words. Talking about the poetic devices in lines 5 to 8, you have alliteration. If you remember, the initial letter, which is generally a consonant, is being repeated. So, repeated more than once. So, even if there are two words having the same first letter, that's alliteration. So, has given my heart, has heart. So, her. And saved some part, sir, saved some. So, it is an alliteration. Again, we have an enjambment, a running line, continuous line. Has given my heart a change of mood. It makes sense only till here. So, it is a continuous line. It is a running line. And saved some part of a day I had rued. So, you see, again, it's going further. It is running to the next line to make complete sense. So, it is enjambment. I hope you have understood it. See, for all the poems that are going to come, all the upcoming poems which we are going to do of this of grade 10, all of them will be explained in the same manner. So you see, by the end of it, you are totally sorted. You have no issues. There is nothing that you don't know when it comes to a poem. So my dear friends, you make sure that you are not going to lose a single mark when it comes to this. Of course, our chapters are equally explained in the same manner. So on the whole, you are totally sorted when it comes to literature, when it comes to poem, even when it comes to grammar or creative writing. It's an entire package for which you should be assured. Please be assured that you cannot afford to lose a single mark once you have gone through the entire module of all the chapters, all the poems, your grammar lessons, as well as your writing skills. So you see, this is one of the best decisions you have taken. Yeah? Now, to conclude this wonderful poem, in 3 words, I can sum up everything. I've learned about life. It goes on. Beautiful. Very well put up by Robert Frost. Nothing stops. Nothing on earth stops. The life definitely goes on. Be it death in the family, be it anything that you come across. Yeah, be it happiness, be it sadness, anything. Life doesn't stop. The show has to go on. Just like our show will keep going on. Keep waiting for your next poem till you get to the next and learn much more. So, keep watching and keep learning.